seniors, welcome to week 3 of our advisory videos. And today I really just want to focus on two kind of areas. I want to talk about the senior project process, and I also want to talk about our student learner outcomes. So let's start with our senior project process. It kind of has 3 little chunks. The first chunk that we went through, of course, was creating our project proposal. Yeah, you did that your junior year. You got approved end of junior year or summer. And that was you making your plan. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Who's going to help you do it? All of that fantastic stuff. So now we have our approved proposal, and that's your contract. This is what you're going to do. Here's all the things. So now we're in kind of phase 2. Phase 2 is creating that project, finishing up the creating of that project, learning what you're going to learn, making what you're going to make, whatever you're doing. So as we finish that up, I said it the last 2 times, but I'm going to say it again. Make sure you keep documentation on everything. Pictures, videos with you in it. You doing the project so that we can really see that you were the one that built what you're building, made what you're going to make, cooked what you're going to cook, whatever your project is. It shows that you're the one doing the work, okay? Keeping all your notes and all your receipts and all of your messages back and forth with your consultant. Make sure you have all of those. So that's kind of part number 2, right? And we're in the middle of that. And we're going to be working on that through fall, finishing up our project, keeping all of our documentation, making sure that everything is where it needs to be, following our proposal from part 1, doing all the things we need to do, part 2, and then moving into part 3. And that's what we're going to be working on throughout advisory over the next couple weeks, that part 3. So what does that look like? Part 3, a couple things. Creating your online digital portfolio. So yay, yeah, we're going to go over all the instructions in advisory. You don't have to worry about that. But that portfolio, showing all the pieces of your project, is going to lead to the last little 2 things of part 3, defense and boards. These are the last 2 things that you have to do as a graduation requirement, right? This is a graduation requirement. You got to do it so that you can graduate on time. So defense, you will be using your portfolio that we create, and you're showing a panel of judges your project, and you're talking about your project and what you did and how you did these things. And it's a super cool time that you can actually showcase all of the fabulous things that you've learned or you've done. Just fantastic. It's so great. So we'll do that. Then the very last piece is our senior boards. Senior boards, it's a speech. We will be going over it in advisory. We will have the prompt out for you. You're also going to talk about it in your senior English class. So don't worry, you'll get it a bunch of times. But what the senior boards speech is really a way for you to argue how you have become one of our student learner outcomes, or a couple of our student learner outcomes, and how the things that you've done at Helix, including your senior project, how these experiences have helped you become this person who demonstrates one of our, or more than one of our, student learner outcomes. So what does that look like? You've probably seen it. They're on everyone's classroom door and walls and all these things. So what does that look like? So I just want to go over this real quick overview of what these student learner outcomes are, so that you have that in your head, so that as you're completing your project and as you're working through your classes and your things, that you have that in your head and you're starting to consider, which one of these have I become? And how have I become this person? How have I gotten here? What events, what clubs, what activities, what sports, what community service has helped me become this person? So let's take a look at what they are. So I have my little cool, awesome possum spotlight. I'm so excited. It's a really fun thing that I learned here. So here are our school-wide learner outcomes, okay? Let's just kind of look at them together. Graduates of Helix Charter High School will be constructive thinkers, effective communicators, informed decision makers, and functional producers. In addition, students will be supported in becoming involved citizens, self-directed learners, and healthy people. So with these 7 student learning outcomes, these are the things that by the time you graduate Helix, you will have become one or more of these things, probably more. They all kind of go in, they kind of interweave. So what I want you to do now is I want you to think about your project and think about what in your project you've had to do or will have to do. Which of these learner outcomes are demonstrated throughout that process? Just making your proposal alone, you had to be an informed decision maker and a constructive thinker. You had to think through the whole process. Who's going to help me? How can I put this together? What do I need to do? Informed decision maker. Let me think about all these things together and how do I need to adjust and what can I do to make it better? An effective communicator. Who did you have to talk to? Who are you going to have to talk to? How did you have to put that all together? So we are doing these things all the time. So I just wanted you to have this in your brain, be thinking about it, because your senior board speech, you will be arguing that you have become one of these or more than one of these in your speech. And then you're going to be using your senior project as well as a few other experiences throughout high school as the evidence of your becoming one of these school-wide learner outcomes. Because of my senior project, I am now a constructive thinker. Because of my community service, I am now an involved citizen. This is going to be the evidence. So I want you to start thinking about that, and we're going to go into more and more depth on all of these as we go throughout our advisory classes. We're going to talk about each one of these a little bit more and think about the pieces. And then when we get to boards, of course, when we get closer to boards, we'll be going over that and helping you brainstorm that out as well. But I really want you to keep that in the back of your head as we go through this part 2 of our senior project process. As we work through creating the project, doing our documentation, which one of those student learner outcomes are you demonstrating as you're creating your project? Which one are you showing as you show your project to people and communicate that and go to defense and do all of these things, okay? So I hope that's all clear. Again, I'm in room 140A if you have any questions or any problems. If you need any help, Mrs. Meredith is in room 50 and she's also available for you. So whatever you need, we are here for you. And just be thinking about those student learner outcomes and get working on your project. Okay, I'll see you guys next week. Have a super fabulous day.